Hi everyone, Trina here, and this is 7.3 Origins of Soul, and we were getting into the 6 stages of the soul's evolution. So I'm looking forward to reading that with you guys. Work has been crazy, the energy has been crazy. It seems life has been very interesting as of late. I hope it's been interesting for you all too, but in a good way. Because, yeah, the energy feels very intense since right before Halloween and straight on till now. And the solar waves that are hitting us right now are amazing. I saw some guy recording in infrared, and it was beautiful. It was these light just coming in as waves, little particles. It was really pretty to see it in infrared. It was very cool. So we will begin the 6 stages of the soul's evolution. Okay, it appears to me impossible that I should cease to exist, or that this active, restless spirit, equally alive to joy and sorrow, should be organized only as dust, ready to fly abroad the moment the spring snaps or the spark goes out, which kept it together. Surely something resides in his heart that is not perishable, and that life is more than a dream. Mary Wollstonecraft. Wollstonecraft. What a long name. Wollstonecraft. So, while every soul originates in the celestial realms, we have each taken our own evolutionary journey, and thus we are at different points along the way. The factors that determine whether or where a soul is in its evolution is largely based upon how long it has been traveling in the lower worlds, the amount of experience it has accumulated, and the challenges that it has mastered. Some souls are just at the beginning of their sojourn in the 3rd dimension, while others have been on Earth for a very, very long time. Some souls are eagerly just arriving, keen to experience the roller coaster of the physical world, while others are impatient and frustrated and clawing to get out. That sounds like me more. Some souls are so trapped in the negativity of this dimension that they spend most of their life fighting the shadow. I don't fight the shadow. I definitely do shadow work, and I believe in shadow work. I think it's one of the most freeing things you can do for yourself. But trying to figure if there's a way out of this matrix and soul reincarnation, if it's not of your own choice. Yeah, I'm very interested in researching that. So, in this chapter, we will take a look at the 6 stages of the soul's evolution that we must each experience over the course of the sojourn in the physical world. Ancient wisdom tells us that the average time it takes to achieve mastery is about 800 lifetimes. That's a lot of lifetimes. And each of us is somewhere on that continuum. Suffice to say, a soul that has already made it to Earth has already spent billions of years in the higher realms. But this does not mean that it has mastered the lessons of living there. Since our planet is a 3-dimensional world, it is linked to the lessons of the 3rd chakra. Very interesting. These lessons deal with power and the right use of will. Wow. And this is directly tied to our abilities to manifest the reality that we want in the here and now. Thus, our planet seems to be caught up in learning the lessons of how to use personal power. Many misuse it. Some give all their power away. Others, closer to graduation day, develop their personal power for self-discovery and use it to help their fellow human beings. When we look around and see that the world is in chaos, we can see that we have not yet learned how to use our personal power wisely to create a truly fair and just society. So, we still have a long way to go. Now, this, I think, is completely due to our programs and giving all of our power away. So, yet, as hard as the curriculum is here on planet Earth, these great personal and global challenges are among the many reasons why souls want to incarnate here, because they know that facing such challenges will put them on the fast track. This also is the reason why much of our world is still wrestling with the issues of power, fame, money, sex, personal ambition, and ego, and of course, the unbridled abuse of power that we see all around us in the actions of corporations, governments, religions, and the many terrorist groups around the world. Planets like ours represent a kind of PhD program for an adventurous soul. That is so funny because literally the Lord would tell me always, he's like, remember, this is Harvard and you came to graduate. And he would always throw terms at me that he knew someday I would understand what that meant. Because when he was first telling me that this was Harvard, and he says it's a very hard school, and he would call it Harvard. I didn't know what Harvard was when I was like 8 years old, 7 years old, 5 years old. I had no idea. But he told me I came here to graduate. And he said that this was Earth School, and it was one of the hardest schools in the entire cosmos that you could come to. And he said, so many want to come. And I was like, well, I didn't want to come. He would laugh. He says, I know that you didn't want to come. But he said, you knew that you needed to for your own self and for the whole. And your presence would make a difference being here. So there was some kind of an agreement, a long, detailed, precise reason that I chose to come into Earth at this time. And I just don't have full recollection of it. I have glimpses of it, memories of it, little pieces, but still not the full picture. And that'll be great the day when I get all the picture put in, all together into one beautiful story. So I have complete comprehension of it. But part of that, I know I can't have complete comprehension of it because it would involve all the learning of all the other lifetimes, and that's too much for our brains to hold at one time. So that's why you get it in pieces, because it's kind of, you can only process so much in human form. So, PhD programs for adventurous souls. And there are many nuances of love and power that we must master as we move from one level to another. Table 15.1 on the facing page shows the 6 stages of the soul's evolutionary journey on planet Earth. Here as I list the strengths and weaknesses of each stage, as well as the lessons to be mastered. From this you can see that to even be incarnated in this dimension, a soul must have spent at least 2 billion years in Earth time in the higher worlds. However, the longer a soul spends in any of these higher dimensions, the more preparation it has when it does finally come to Earth. Let me also remind you that even if a soul descends into the physical realms billions of years ago, much of that time was not spent on Earth. According to the latest scientific reckoning, this planet is only 3.5 billion years old. This means that many of us have had lifetimes on other planets, and each experience has added to our individuality. While the stages, I believe that too. I do believe that we have incarnated on different planets before Earth. I've always known that somehow deep inside of me and had no reason to validate it, but I always knew that. I always knew that somehow, some way, that I didn't come from just Earth. So, Okay, while the stages of the soul's evolution are largely determined by how long the soul has been traveling into the 7 lower planes, ultimately its maturity is measured by the wisdom of its choices. Many souls straddle the fence between one stage of maturity and another for hundreds or even thousands of years. Some of us may be quite advanced in one area of life, but yet we are wounded, stuck, or out of touch in another. Some souls have mastered finances, but never developed their creativity. Others are great at relationships, yet are terrible at goal setting. One person may be wonderful at sports, but yet never opened his heart. So, mastery is a process, and we must have patience. In this chapter, I have profiled each of these stages of evolution. Here, I have suggested professions for each stage, but these are just a broad generality. In truth, a person may choose to enter a profession for a variety of reasons, bringing a higher or lower level of consciousness to that task. For example, a fireman, policeman, or a paramedic might be a young, intermediate, or advanced soul, depending upon motivation. Younger intermediates might want to take an action-packed career, while an advanced might be dedicated to helping or protecting others. A young soul might dream to be a big rock star in order to delve into the experiences of sex, fame, and glory, while a master soul might use a celebrity to inspire others, becoming a high-level altruist. An intermediate soul, incarnating as a CEO, might execute their duties as a self-serving bully, while an advanced or master soul who is a CEO might use their influences to bring about positive changes in the world. This is the chart that they show, and the first one is the beginner soul. The second is the young soul. The third is the intermediate soul. The fourth is the advanced. The fifth is the master. And the sixth is the bodhisattva soul. Bodhisattva. Okay, so beginner soul. Approximate numbers of years, 2 to 3 billion. 8% of souls on earth are in this category. Qualities: innocent, honest, trusting, creative, magical, naive, open, spiritual, gullible, unprepared. The young soul, 3 to 4 billion years, approximately 12%. Good intentioned, fear-based, religious, fundamentalist, judgmental, manipulated, joiners, and rule followers. The intermediate soul, 4.5 to 5 billion years, 45% of the souls on earth. Power-seeking, manipulative, self-serving, win-lose, dynamics, criminals, powerful, possessive, controlling, cuts corners, often successful in the business world. Advanced soul, 5.5 to 7 billion years, approximately 27% of the souls. Humanitarians, good intentioned, family oriented, win-win dynamics, spiritual, kind, and helpful. Master souls, 7.9 billion years, approximately 7% of souls. spiritual, purpose-driven, moral, wise, intelligent, truth-seeking, kind, thoughtful, devotional, and mission-driven. The sixth and the last one is the Bodhisattva soul. Over 9 billion years old, approximately 1% of the souls. They are humble, wise, deep, masterful, spiritual, emanating, purposeful, and selfless. So, in each of the 6 stages, I had been given percentages of how many of these souls are present in the world today. While much of this planet is dominated by the young and intermediate souls, still grappling with issues of power, it must be said that there are many more advanced souls living on Earth today than in the golden age of ancient Greece. These people have returned to help our planet because we are at a tipping point. I totally feel that's true. For many centuries, this beautiful paradise planet has been taken over by shadow governments and have oppressed people and obscured the light. At this time, however, with the assistance of the higher angelic forces and the galactic councils, it is being pulled back into the light. As this transition occurs, each soul has a chance to move into alignment with unity consciousness. We can do this most easily by opening our hearts, aligning with the light, and connecting with our angelic twin. By cultivating our own intuition and our own spiritual qualities, we open up the right side of our brain, and you can imagine and merge with vibrations of the divine feminine that has been suppressed for thousands of years. This brings our brain back into wholeness. It opens up our inner sight, and it connects us to the law of one, allowing us to remember that all creatures, plants, animals, humans, divas, fairies, masters, and angels are all a part of the same circle of life. Only this rebalancing will allow us to save our planet and take a giant leap forward in our own spiritual evolution. As you read through these stages, remember you will always find people who are ahead of you or behind you in their growth. Knowing where a person is on his or her spiritual journey will help you develop tolerance, understanding, and forgiveness. Just remember, the process of mastery takes time, patience, perseverance, and above all, self-love. As the entertainer Cher once said so famously in a commercial, if anybody could get a body like this by drinking a bottle, then everyone would have one. But just as a sleek, healthy body takes time and effort, so does the blossoming of a soul. So just remember that no matter how imperfect we may seem, we are each supported by countless spiritual beings who are following the arc of our own soul's journey. Following the arc of our own soul's journey. That's beautiful. The arc of energy. Okay. This goes into a lot of description about the beginner soul, the young soul, all the different layers of that. And I don't think that I'll read all of that to you guys because I gave you the basic chart, and these are the basic percentages. And it's it's her own work and it's beautiful. And I think if you're really interested, definitely buy the book and read this because it is very, very good information. And I think it's pretty good on track too. It's beautiful. But I will read you the last one about the Bodhisattva soul. And this is probably the highest level, so eventually this is probably where most of us want to get to in our point of evolution. So I will read you part of this. And it's the greatest strengths and the greatest obstacles and the lessons of the Bodhisattva soul, which is the highest level, the last one, the sixth. So, great strengths and greatest obstacles. Oneness with God and unconditional love is the Bodhisattva's greatest strength. Their very presence creates an emanation that raises other people's frequencies through its direct transmission. These souls are wise, heart-based, spiritually attuned, and embody the highest frequencies of the God-man or God-woman in human form. Greatest obstacles. In the development of the siddhis, or spiritual powers, it is so easy to let pride creep in. These souls must remember to remain humble and avoid falling into any of the traps of the 5 passions of the mind. And these are anger, lust, vanity, greed, and undue attachment to anyone or anything. Because their Kundalini energy is so highly developed, they must so watch out for the misuse of their sexual force. Many of these masters have become ascetics, which I believe means celibate, although some of them have married. However, since it is difficult to find an equal partner, they must guard against promiscuity. Sleeping around. I couldn't say that word, I know it, but I cannot say it out of my mouth right now. Or inappropriate sexual encounters with others. Lessons. These souls are already profoundly awakened. They must continue to stay in their heart, remain humble. They must have patience with the many souls around them who are nowhere near their evolutionary level. One of their main challenges is loneliness, because although they are constantly practicing the presence of divine, they are still in human form. Human bodies long to be held and nurtured in every human way. Thus, these souls must balance their human needs with their missions. They must continue to remember that all experiences are perfect in the eyes of God. The entire circle is who we are. And that to incarnate as a human is to be human and flawed, as well as divine and perfect. Through the centuries, the key points of wisdom of the Bodhisattvas have been distorted to promote personal agendas of those who have carried on in their names. Yet history shows us that true enlightenment or peace does not lie in the falsehoods of war and oppression. It also does not lie in the centuries of souls who have argued and fought and killed in the name of religion. It does not lie in suicide bombs, religious hangings, inquisitions, or seditious judgment, and it does not lie in the rants of fundamentalist preachers, racial bigotry, gender prejudice, jihad, violent massacres, or political assassinations. Truth lies in a personal relationship with the Creator that opens up our hearts, brings us into alignment with the oneness, brings us harmony and peace. It lies in the balance between the male and female aspects of all of us, and the path of union that treats all beings with kindness. Any religion that teaches the superiority of one gender, race, country, or religion over another has gotten out of balance. Any religion that teaches the divine right of rulership over any other is skewing the true message and changing it for social, political, or financial reasons. Religions that legitimize or oppress, murder, torture, sacrifice, or annihilate animals, humans, or even extraterrestrial beings visiting this planet from elsewhere. They are also part of the divine, and they have, in essence, lost their purity and their way, the ones who harm any of these beings. As you flip back through these tables, you may recognize many people in your life and others on the public stage who fit easily into these categories. Hopefully, by understanding these various stages of the soul's journey, you can begin to see why you resonate so well with certain people and are so challenged by others. Yet every phase of evolution has its own opportunities for growth and understanding. Knowing where you are in this journey, as well as where others may be, can help you develop patience and forgiveness for all people. After all, each of us is on the same spiritual journey, just at different points along the way. By reminding yourself that we are all works in progress, we can gain the patience and the wisdom to walk our path with humor and grace. Okay, guys, I think I will pick up on the next one, which is the course curriculum for the soul. So much love. I hope you're having a wonderful day, night, whatever it is for you, and we'll see you on the next one. Talk soon. Bye-bye.